All right, we'll call the meeting to order because we have places to go and people to see.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to Homecoming Week at Brandon Valley. Roll call, Mr. Lundberg.
Ullum.
Yes.
Odie. Klatt. Saxer. Schrader.
Yes.
All right, with that, if there's no additions or changes that need to be made to the agenda or nobody wants to move anything above the line, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented tonight.
So move. Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I don't believe there are any conflict of interest disclosure or waiver requests tonight, which takes us to approval of the minutes from our regular meeting August 14th and August 28th. I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented tonight.
Move to approve the August minutes.
Second. There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. No community input tonight, so that takes us to financial items, bills, and claims. Mr. Lundberg.
Okay, I'd entertain any questions that you guys might have had on the bills. I did note some of the larger ones. On page 1, there was a bill to Apple computer. I think we had a total of 7 iPad carts, 200 units for $97,000. There's various iMacs included in that cost too. Beck and Hofer Construction, $359,000. To date, we've paid them $1.2 million of a just under a $1.6 million contract. So we're getting towards the end of that. Page 3, or actually page 4. City Glass and Glazing. We did a remodel at the early childhood section down at Brandon Elementary. A lot of that was window and door replacements down there. That's the amount there. The Smart Lab, we paid for that this month, $160,000 at the middle school in the new room. Page 5, East Dakota Co-op, $697,000. I'll just quickly run through the various programs that we utilize there. I'll use the old school terminology. They've changed a lot of the terminology. The program that I refer to, the High Impact Program, $140,000. We have 20 slots there for approximately $7,000 a slot. Transition Advantage, a special education program, is $126,700. We have 8 slots at $15,800 each for that program. Transition Advantage is kind of for the older special needs kids. Autism specialist, we pay $80,000 for that person to be the autism specialist in our district. And our OT and PT we pay $180,000, and OT we pay $169,000 for the year. I think that might be all I had noted. Total of $1.8 million of bills. Oh, I did have one more noted on page 14, school specialty. The high school library, we redid the flooring in that entire area. That'll be reimbursed 50% by the city of Brandon, since it is a joint shared facility. So the $47,000, half of that will come back. $1,880,000 total bills. The advance payments break down to $4,900. Pay vouchers of $52,000. A lot of curriculum work at the beginning of the summer, or the end of the summer, beginning of the school year. And food service bills, $140,000, of which $44,000 were the new tables in the middle school. If you had a chance to go in there, very nice looking addition to the middle school cafeteria. They put in all new cafeteria tables in there. Any questions you guys had on the other bills?
Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the bills and claims as presented tonight.
So move. Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Financial report, Mr. Lundberg.
Okay, real quickly, a cash report for the month of August. We came into the month with $8,289,000, $2,010,000 of receipts, and $4.5 million of disbursements. Left $5,784,000 at the end of August in cash. $5.1 million in the general fund, $250,000 in the special education fund, $341,000 in the pension fund, and $35,000 in the enterprise fund. The $2,010,000 is itemized in the next 2 pages. Next, there's a payroll and benefits report for the month of August. Payroll for the month of August was $1,376,000. The related deductions and benefits paid on behalf of the employees are $912,000. And the last item I had in the financial reports was a trust and agency statement, $189,000, amounts held for others. Short reports these first 2 months of the summer.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions from Mr. Lundberg on the financial report? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented tonight.
Move to approve the financial reports.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That takes us to our general business section. Administration Center, Superintendent Larson.
Yes, first and foremost, just want to give you a brief update as we continue to keep you updated on the middle school construction project. Punch list items are in progress in those 3 areas that were in that first phase, and then ultimately the office space and restrooms are on target for that October 31st completion with the entire project being wrapped up at the end of October. Just want to provide a quick highlight regarding our strategic planning process. We began that process late last spring when we engaged our patrons, parents, community in an open-ended survey to gather feedback and insight. And then I would just note that over the course of the coming year, we'll be designing and adopting our strategic plan. We'll utilize a variety of focus groups, a variety of public meetings to gain input and steer that strategic plan into our district's strategic plan. I would utilize the steering committee is our president and vice president of our school board. We'll utilize our activities, curriculum, and technology focus group, which will be 2 members on the Board of Education that serve on that committee, as well as a few other key players in that component. I would note that we'll have a parent focus group, an administrative focus group, a teacher focus group, a classified focus group, and then ultimately 2 public meetings. The public meetings are scheduled for the month of December and April with specific dates to be determined. Brief overview of the process. We will review our operating principle, our mission, our beliefs, and ultimately review data, our current data, school data, current academic research, best practices, current practices will all be a component as we move through the process, and then ultimately we will develop components for our strategic plan, goals, action strategies, and then measurement methods or matrix for achieving or determining whether or not we achieve those goals. So look forward to engaging in that process here in the coming month. There will certainly be more information provided in the very near future. A couple other items I just want to note is that September is Attendance Awareness Month. Not only is there a national and a state level campaign, but also at the district level we've communicated with our parents in a variety of ways about the importance of regular school attendance and what chronic absence does to student achievement and ultimately our kids' success. So note that. And then also the SPI report card data. Again, it will be released on the 19th publicly, and then we will take a look at the overview of that data late September board meeting. So that's just want to also make certain and highlight we have no school on October 6th, and that this year, parent-teacher conferences, regular dismissal days. We want to make certain and get that message to our public. In the past, we've been dismissed at, I believe, 1:30. So regular days of school for parent-teacher conferences on both October 16th and 17th. Just a couple notes on this academic calendar. So I would certainly entertain any questions you may have.
Any questions for Superintendent Larson tonight? Thank you very much. Mr. Lundberg, anything else tonight? Thank you very much. High school, Dr. Talcott or Mr. Schleckaway? I have a feeling they're probably a little busy right now. Okay. Mr. Thorson, anything?
On the Smart Lab is fully functionable. Our kids are enjoying it. Mr. Cruz is doing a wonderful job. They are doing things already that are amazing. We have our announcements on the TV or on the smart board already going, so we have a TV production group going. And again, they're doing some amazing things. So if you have time, stop by there sometime. It's really cool. It's fun to be in there. Mr. Lundberg alluded to our new tables. Thank you for those. They're beautiful, and the kids love them. So thank you for those. It really dresses up our commons. So that's it. Questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Skibstead, anything tonight? Mr. Babb, anything tonight? All right, Mrs. Hofkamp, anything? Mrs. Palmer? Mr. Horst? No. All right. Mrs. Stoddard, anything tonight? Okay. Mr. Henschel? Okay. And Mr. Marceau is probably, I know. I'm thinking he's probably busy too, so. Do you have anything though tonight, Mr. Frecking? Okay, well, I'll not forget to ask you. All right, so that takes us to board policy. It looks like we have a proposed first reading under the background checks district policy GCDB.
Yes, Madam Chair. So what I would note is we did have, prior to this, we did have a local policy, so this is ultimately an amendment or additional items to be included within our local policy. I would note that all of the items included within the local policy were pieces of the Associated School Board's recommended policy or potential policy. A key component or a key component that is different from our policy that we are presenting tonight in comparison to what Associated School Boards utilized is the fact that we will not utilize electric means of sharing background check information. And the reason for that is because when you share background check information via email or fax or those types of things, you have to have a substantial, more substantial amount of security and encryption, and it creates a nightmare for our technology folks when we start thinking about all of the components that would need to be in place for that. So what we do utilize is postal mail, and we do share those background checks. So if you had previously looked at the Associated School Boards sample policy, that is one major difference that you would note. In addition to that, I guess I would just say that there are requirements that we have regarding training for employees. So any individual that has access to or may have access to those background checks or utilize those background checks for making employment decisions has to have an FBI training course. So that's included within this policy. And then in addition to that, I would note that there were some items confidentiality that had to be included within this sample policy or within the proposed policy as well. Also access and retention, and then ultimately record keeping. Our secretarial staff at the central office have to keep a log when they distribute a background check that an employee requests. So most of the times we are dealing with requests for background checks to be shared. It's situations where it's a substitute teacher, quite honestly. So an individual that works for us as a substitute also wants to work in Harrisburg or wants to work in Baltic or Sioux Falls. They request that we send or forward on that background check. So that would be the record keeping component that we are required to have. And then again, increased or additional security. Mandated to have a security incident response plan, and then ultimately the consequences. And again, this is all a result of the South Dakota Department of Criminal Investigation had an FBI audit, a Federal Bureau of Investigation audit, and the FBI looked at how background checks were being utilized and said, well, we need to revamp or increase the level of security, training, et cetera, dealing with that. So I would also note that as a requirement within the policy, you would find that any individual whose employment, temporary employment, is suspended or we ultimately terminate employment with them because of a finding on the background check, they have the right to appeal that to the DCI and appeal why it's on their background check, et cetera. Within our policy, it does note that just because they're going to appeal it doesn't mean that we can't suspend employment or terminate employment. So it was another item to note. Would certainly entertain any questions you may have, or feel free to review and bring those forward at the next meeting.
Thank you very much. That takes us to general business, items 1 and 2 under the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented tonight.
So moved. Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Personnel, we have 8 consent approval items there. I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented tonight.
Move to approve personnel items 1 through 8.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. There's one item there for information only regarding a maternity leave request. Also, under communication, there are some building permit applications. Under Board of Education, there are a couple thank you notes there for a variety of things. That takes us to formal board reports. Does anyone have a formal board report that they would like to share tonight? Hearing none, there are 3 travel reports for your review there. And with that, it looks like that takes us to the end of our regularly scheduled agenda, and rumor has it there's an activity going on at 7:30 in the gym across the hall from us if you'd like to attend. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.